Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my video. I'm Vinayak Agarwal and in this channel I'll upload some really good questions for JEE Advanced exam. So before getting into the video, go hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to make sure you never miss any good questions from the channel. In this video, I'll show you some calculus questions which actually are very good. So don't miss any part of the video because if you do, I'm sure you'll miss something very good from the video. So let's get the video started. I'm gonna show how to solve a second order differential equation. I know that a second order differential equation is not in JEE syllabus. The only reason I'm showing this is because sometimes what we do in physics is we overcomplicate our solutions, and mostly this happens in an exam. And in an exam we get very biased with the solutions, the solution which we proceeded with in the very first try, and in that solution we mostly end up making second order differential equations or third order differential equations or some cubic equations whose roots you can't tell by hit and trial method and stuff like that. So when you do that and it's not that your solution is wrong, but it's just overcomplicated. So sometimes it's good that you can solve the second order differential equation. That gives you a lot of happiness that I can imagine. So just for that, I'm going to show how to solve a second order differential equation. So there are a lot of types of second order differential equation, out of which the linear form is the most easy and the most basic one, and that's the one I'm going to show right now. So an nth order linear differential equation looks like y to the yn plus pyn minus 1 plus qyn minus 2 plus plus ry equals to c. Now p, q, r and c, they all are functions of x, and yn is dny upon dxn, and similarly yn minus 1 is dn minus 1 y upon dx minus dxn minus 1, and so on. So a second order linear differential equation looks like y2 plus py1 plus qy equals r. This is how a second order linear differential equation looks like. So how can we solve this linear differential equation? Notice one thing: if the qy term wasn't there, if the qy term was 0, then y2 plus py1 equals to r. This would have been very simple to integrate because it is very similar to the actually it is exactly the same of with dy by dx plus py equals q. The difference is here the y is y, here the y is y1, here it is y1, here it is y. Y1 is dy by dx. So that's the only difference. And we know how to solve this equation. We multiply by e to the power integral p dx both sides, and on the LHS we can see it is the LHS becomes e to the integral p dx times y on the derivative of this thing, and on the RHS we have q integral p dx. So if the qy term was 0, or we make the qy term somehow 0, then we will be with only this thing, and we know how to solve this thing. So let's see how to make the qy term somehow 0. Now see, you already are solving an overcomplicated problem. Now you have to do some guesswork. If you can't do that guesswork as well, then you have to accept that your solution is too complicated, or maybe it is wrong, that you can't solve a second order differential equation. So you just have to give up with your solution in that case. So you have to find the solution for this equation. If the solution for this equation is, say, y is equal to f of x, then you can solve this equation with with this thing is equal to r. Instead of 0, you can equate it to r, and then proceed if you know the solution for this equation. If the solution for this equation is y is equal to f of x, then just simply put y upon f of x equals to t. Y is equal to t of x. That means y1 is t f dash x plus t1 fx, and y2 is t f double dash x plus f dash x t1 plus t1 f dash x plus fx t2. When we put y2, y1 and y in this expression, no, not in this expression, because we already know the root of this expression is f of x, and that y is equal to f of x is obtained by guessing. When we put y2, y1 and y in that expression, we get y2 is 2 times f dash x into t1, f dash x t1 plus t f double dash x plus t2 fx plus we have p times t f dash x plus p times t1 fx plus qt fx equals r. Now we already know that y2 that is f double dash x plus p f dash x plus q fx is 0. We know this, and we know this by guessing. So if we take t common out of this term, and this term, then you will see it is q fx plus f double dash x plus p f dash x, and that is equal to 0. So we are left with 2f dash x t1 plus t2 fx plus p fx t1 equals r. As you can see, we have successfully converted this differential equation into this differential equation. We just the difference is, instead of y2 we have t2, and instead of y1 we have t1, and to integrate this we have to put t1 equals to some new variable, let's say p or z or whatever, and we have to solve by this method, and by this method we will get y, that is in this case t1, and t1 is again dfx by dx. So we will get fx is equal to integral of this thing upon this, the integral of this upon this, integral of this thing upon this thing is the dfx by x, and fx will be that thing. So yeah, you can understand the method, and I'm just gonna show you one example as well. Okay, so we have a second order linear differential equation on the board. You can pause the video here and try to solve this by the method I just showed you, and if you find some troubles in the method, you can see the solution as well. So we first have to find the value of, we have to first have to find the root of this equation, x cubed dy by dx minus x square y equals to 0. We have to first find the roots for this equation. Now we have to do that by guessing. So you can see, or maybe however everyone thinks differently. You have to think and come to the conclusion that y is equal to x satisfies this equation, because dy by dx is 1 and d2y by dx square is 0. So y is equal to x, and this is x cubed, so it is 0. So y is equal to x is a solution. That means f of x is x. So we had to put y upon f of x is equal to t. So y upon x equal to t. So y equals to xt. Y1 equals to x t dash plus t into x dash is 1, and y2 is x t double dash plus t dash x dash is again 1, and plus t dash, so t dash plus t dash is 2t dash, so t double dash x plus 2t dash is equal to y2. We put this y2, y1 and y in this expression. We will get 2t dash plus t double dash x plus x cube into x t dash plus x t dash plus t minus x square into xt. So we are left with this x for t dash minus 1 second. This is x t dash. Yeah. This is t double dash x, and this is x for t dash plus x cube t minus x cube t. We are only left with t dash and t double dash terms, and this is equal to e to the minus x4 by 4. Now t double dash plus t dash into x cube plus 2 by x equals to x square e to the minus x4 by 4. Now this is the linear first order linear differential equation, and we have to multiply by e to the power x cube plus 2 by x integral both sides, and on the LHS it is the derivative of this product, and on the RHS it is x square e to the minus x4 by 4 times e to the power integral x cube plus 2 by x dx. So this is, when we integrate both sides, we have t dash e to the power x4 by 4 into e to the power 2 ln x. Now 2 ln x is ln of x square, and e to the power ln of x square is x square because it is f of f inverse x. So f of f inverse x is simply x. This is equal to x square e to the minus x4 by 4 into e to the x4 by 4 into x square integral. So t dash is equal to this gets cancelled and it is dx. So this is x5 by 5. So x cube by 3, x cube by 5 e to the power minus x square by 4 plus c upon x square e to the power minus x square by 4. And this is dy by dx, and we can send the dx over here, and we can to integrate this we can just simply put x square equals to t, and 2x dx is dt. So we can simply integrate this. This was the first or the linear second order differential equation. But again, it is the second order linear differential equation is not the equation that you will come up most of the times. Most of the equation you will come up most of the times is what I'm gonna just show you now. Okay, so a function of x dy by dx and d2y by dx square is equal to 0, and a function of y dy by dx and d2y by dx square is equal to 0. These are the two types of functions that you are going to come across most often. So what we just had a look at was a function of x comma y comma dy by dx comma d2y by dx square. What we had a look at just now was a function of all these terms. What you're going to come across most often is a function of x dy by dx and d2y by dx square. That is, the y term would be absent or the x term would be absent, and the order could be anything. The terms could be anywhere, like there could be a term with y cube into dy by dx or y cube into d2y by dx square or anything like that, and it could be anything. But there will be no x term in that case, and there will be no y term in this case. So what we can do in both of the cases is, let's have a look at this case first. So if we put dy by dx equals to p in these type of cases, and we have d2y by dx square equals to dp by dx, also, then this dx is actually dy by p. This is a normal fraction only. Dy by p is equal to dx. So it is actually dp by dy times p. So it actually is a function of y, p and p dp by dy. When you make this substitution, you'll see most of the times that you are able to solve the differential equation by normal methods as well. After doing the substitution, you'll see, is the substitution visible now? Okay, so when you do the substitution, you will see that you will be able to do almost all the differential equations by normal methods we are aware of in our JEE preparation. So in this case, we put dy by dx equals to p and d2y by dx square equals to dv by dx, and we are left with phi of x comma p comma dp by dx equals 0. So this is how you can solve these kind of equations. I'm just gonna quickly show 2 examples for each, and you can have a look at some examples after those 2 examples yourself. Okay, so let's have a look at both the examples of both the types I just showed. So this is of the type phi y comma dy, y comma dp by dy, y comma p dp by dy equals 0. So we have y times p dp by dy plus p square equals to 2y square. In this thing, if we put p square equals to some alpha, we have 2p dp equals to d alpha, so it is y times d alpha upon 2 dy plus alpha equals to 2y square, and we can multiply by 2 and divide by y. So this is a simple first order linear differential equation, and we can solve this by multiplying both sides by the integrating factor. And this is equal to e to the power ln y square, and that is y square itself because of the f inverse fx, 4y e to the now y square again, and the integral of this is y4 plus some constant c, alpha y square. Now alpha was p square, so we have p square y square equals to y4 plus c. So py, let's just say the c is a square, so py is y4 plus a square under the root. This p is dy by dx, so we can send the dx on the RHS and bring the RHS term on the LHS. So we have y dy upon y4 plus a square equals dx. Now integrating both sides, we can put y square equals to t, and this is dt by 2 under root t square plus a square equals x plus k, and we know that integral 1 by x square plus a square under the root dx equals ln x plus under root x square plus a square. So it is the exact same thing. We have 1 by 2 ln t plus under root t square plus a square equals x plus k, and t was equal to y square, so we put y square in this, and we can just simply leave the answer with this as well. It totally depends on what question you actually are solving. And coming to this example is of the type phi of x comma y1 comma y2. Y1 is actually p and y2 is actually dp by dx. So because there is no y term, that's why it's x and no y. 1 plus p square equals to x p dp by dx. So we send dx and x on the LHS and bring the LHS p terms on the RHS. 1 plus p square equals to dx upon x. So we have ln under root 1 plus p square equals to ln x plus c. Now this c is same as ln of something, ln k, let's say. So it is ln kx, and ln x is a 1 function. We have 1 p square equals to k square x square minus 1, or we can say we have p equals to k square x square minus 1 under the root dp. P was equal to dy by dx, so we have dy integral equals to k square x square minus 1 integral dx, and we know that integral x square minus a square under root equals to x by 2 under root x square minus a square by 2 ln x plus under root x square minus a square. So we can put kx equals to some t, and x dx equals to 1 by k dt. So we have 1 by k integral t square minus 1 and dt, and we can just put a equals to 1, x equals to t, and we get our answer. And it totally depends on which stage you have to take your answer depending on your question. So yeah, that's how we solve some basic second order differential equations. Yeah. You can pause the video here and attempt the question over there, and after you are done trying to solve the question, you can come back to the video and see the solution. Okay, so in this question we have a parabola y square equals to 4ax, and we have an axis about which the parabola rotates, and that axis passes through the vertex and the extremity of the latest rectum. Let's say it is a comma 2a. So this is the axis and this is the parabola. This parabola rotates about this axis, so it makes a closed figure like this, and it makes a closed figure in between and an open surface above and open surface below. So there is only one closed surface, and we have to find the volume of that closed surface. So we have the parabola y square equals to 4ax. Let's say these are the coordinate axes. This is the parabola y square equals to 4ax. This is the point a comma 2a. A comma 0. This is the focus. This is the a comma 2a, and the axis passes through both these points. So the equation of the axis is y is equal to 2x. So we have the axis, and when the parabola rotates, we get a closed surface like this. Now we have to find the volume of this closed surface. So to find the volume of this closed surface, we will take a disk with a differential length, and we take the volume of the disk of the differential length. Actually it is a cylinder of very small thickness, and we integrate that volume with the proper limits, and we find the volume of the whole spindle, because the whole spindle can be assumed to be made of infinitely many those small differential disks. The radius of this disk is this distance. Let's say it's point x comma y. Let's say this point is x comma y. The distance of x comma y from this axis, y is equal to 2x, is y minus 2x upon root 5. So modulus of y minus 2x upon root 5. This is the distance. Let's say it is the radius of that disk. Now we have to find the volume. The differential volume of that disk is going to be pi r square times the thickness of that disk or cylinder. You can say anything, it doesn't matter. Pi r square times dt. Now what is dt? If we know the thickness of this length, the length of this, if we know this length, then if we take the differential of this length, that is going to be our dt. So to find that length, we can use the Pythagoras theorem. X square plus y square under root whole square minus r square under the root is t. I use the Pythagoras theorem in this triangle. So x square plus y square under root whole square minus r square whole under the root is t, and x square plus y square minus r square, that is y square plus 4x square minus 4xy whole upon 5 is t, and x square by 5 plus y square by 5 minus 4xy by 5 is t. So x minus 2y whole upon root 5 is t, the mod of this. Now dt is dx minus 2 dy upon root 5 mod. We can just ignore the mod because the in the total volume, after taking r square and dt, the volume should be positive, so we don't mind the mod. So dt is dx minus 2 dy. So dv is pi r square. R square is y square plus 4x square minus 4xy whole upon 5 times dx minus 2 dy upon root 5. We have dx minus 2 dy, and y square is once again y square is 4ax, so y is 4a under root x, so dy is equal to 2 under root a 1 by 2 root x dx. So it is root a by x dx, and we can put this dy over here, and we can simply integrate this. I'm sorry, it is a plus over here. It is a plus over here, and we can simply integrate this with the limits of x from 0 to a, and we can find the total volume. So pi integral 5 root 5 y square plus 4x square. Y square is 4ax plus 4x plus 4x under root 4ax times 1 minus 2 under root a upon under root x dx. This is the final expression, and this is the volume. You can pause the video here and attempt the question over there, and after you're done trying to solve the question, you can come back to the video and see the solution. Okay, so while solving this question, I came across a pretty cool observation which can be used to trick us against in many multi-correct questions as well, in JEE Advanced and other multi-correct questions as well. So just to show that cool observation, I'm showing the question as well. So as you have I'm hoping that you have already solved the question, because it's a very easy question, but even if you didn't, no problem, you can see the solution. So we have integral sin x upon sin x minus a, sin x minus b, sin x minus c. So in all of these type of questions where we have a numerator and a numerator similar to the numerator, a denominator which is very similar to the numerator and has a lot of terms similar to the numerator, like x upon x minus 3, x minus 4, x minus 5, and other things like that. We should always think of partial fractions. So we can write the same thing, the sin x upon sin x minus a, sin x minus b, sin x minus c, as a upon sin x minus a plus b upon sin x minus b plus c upon sin x minus c. Let's say this is equal to sin x upon sin x minus a, sin x minus b, sin x minus c. Okay, so if we just assume this, I'll just erase this off. Okay, if we assume this, we can multiply both sides after assuming this by sin x minus c, sin x minus b, sin x minus c, and we will get a times sin x minus b, sin x minus c, plus b times sin x minus a, sin x minus c, plus c times sin x minus a, sin x minus b. This is x minus a. Okay, so if we put x equals to a, this is equal to sin x. If we put x is equal to a in this whole expression, we have an identity in x, and we can put x as anything. And if we put x is equal to a in this equation, this thing gets 0 because of sin 0. This thing gets 0 because of sin 0. This thing becomes sin a, and this thing becomes sin a minus b times sin a minus c. So we have a equals to sin a upon sin a minus c, sin a minus b. Similarly, we will get b is equal to sin b upon sin b minus c into sin b minus a, and c as sin c upon sin c minus a sin c minus b. So we will get the a values of a, b and c. We will put these values of a, b and c, which are constants actually, and we can integrate this. We can integrate both sides, and the integral of this is the sum of is the sum of integral of the sum of the integrals of these three terms. And one thing, the cool observation over here is the only x term in this integral is sin x minus a, and we don't have any other x term, so the integral will depend on this thing. So if we have only sin x minus a, we will get log of cosec x minus a minus cot of x minus a, only if this is the only x term. But one thing to note over here is we can multiply this by 1, all of these terms by 1, and if we write this 1 cos of a minus a, and this 1 as cos of b minus b, and this one as cos of c minus c, and let's just not write a minus a and b minus b and c minus c now. Let's write x minus a, x minus b, x minus c. So if we write x minus a, x minus b, x minus c, when we put x equals to a in this identity now, if we put x is equal to a in this identity, one thing to note over here is this is not an identity now, this is an equation. But if we put x is equal to a in this equation, we will get the same values of a, b and c, because when we put x equal to a, cos of a minus b is not 0, but sin of a minus a is 0. So this thing is again 0, this thing is 0, and this thing is 1. So the value of a, the value of b and the value of c remains the same. So yeah, the value of a, b and c remains the same, but when we divide by sin x minus a, sin x minus b, sin of x minus c on both sides, we will get a into cos of x minus a upon sin of x minus a, plus b into cos of x minus b upon sin x minus b. So sin of x minus a is not the only term. So now we have to integrate cot of x minus a instead of cosec of x minus a. In that case, we will get both of these as answers. So our answer is A, B and C. So our answer is this, and this was the only cool observation. And this observation this thing can actually be used in other questions as well. Other questions in which we use the partial fractions method, and I don't have examples at this instant, but I think you get what I mean to say. So yeah, that was it in this video. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, I hope you liked the video. If you have any questions of physics, chemistry or maths relevant to IIT JEE exam, you can send them to me on this email ID. Maybe I'll upload them in the next video. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.